Ever wondered why super smart folks sometimes make really silly mistakes? It's a question that really got Charlie Munger, one of the best investors ever, thinking today. We're diving into his famous study, The Psychology of Human Misjudgment. Think of it like installing antivirus software for your brain. Our brains are running on some seriously old software, built for survival on the African savannah, not exactly ideal for dealing with today's complicated world. To manage all this chaos, we've developed mental shortcuts, or psychological tendencies. These shortcuts helped our ancestors dodge danger, but nowadays they can lead us to misjudge risks, follow the crowd right off a cliff, and ignore the obvious truths right in front of us. Munger pinpointed 25 of these tendencies, but let's focus on 3 of the sneakiest ones. First up is social proof. This is that instinct we all have to look at what everyone else is doing to figure out how we should act. It's why financial bubbles happen, why trends blow up, and why smart people often stay quiet in meetings even when they know something's off. If everyone's doing it, our brains scream, it must be the right move. But this herd mentality can really backfire. The crowd isn't always right. Sometimes, it's just a bunch of people making the same mistake, and that mistake gets amplified. The real danger, we stop thinking for ourselves and just let the group do the thinking for us. Next, let's chat about availability bias. Our brains can be pretty lazy. They like to grab onto info that's vivid, recent, and easy to remember. We end up giving way too much weight to a dramatic news story instead of looking at pages of boring stats. That's why we freak out about the risk of a shark attack after a scary movie but totally underestimate everyday risks, like a poor diet or not getting enough sleep. That dramatic info can hijack our sense of reality, making us focus on the wrong threats while the real dangers lurk in the background. Now, the third glitch is the consistency principle. Once we make a choice, especially if we've announced it to the world, we feel this huge pressure to stick with it. We want to look consistent, so we defend our past decisions, even when new info shows we were wrong. We become trapped by commitments we made ages ago. It makes it super tough to admit we messed up and change direction, which is a must-have skill for success in any area. We'd rather stick with a bad decision than admit we were wrong. So, how do we fight back against these sneaky forces? How do we fix the glitches in our thinking? Munger had a surprisingly simple solution, a checklist. Before making any big decision, whether it's about your career, your investments, or your relationships, take a moment to run through these mental models. Ask yourself honestly, am I buying this stock just because everyone else is, or do I have a solid reason? Am I stressing over this one risk because I just saw a scary headline, while ignoring a much bigger threat? Am I sticking with this failing project just to avoid admitting I made a bad call years ago? Am I being a prisoner of my past self? This checklist helps you switch from an emotional reaction to a more objective analysis. It's about becoming an active participant in your own thought process instead of just going along with your evolutionary programming. It's not about being smarter than everyone else. It's about being less foolish. As Munger famously said, if you don't get this basic psychology into your toolkit, you're like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Learning to spot these glitches in your thinking is the first step toward gaining a huge advantage in life. It helps you see the world more clearly and make decisions based on reality, not distortion.